Title: Cook County Jail, where Chicago's gang wars never stop. Help this channel grow. Like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more stories. This helps us a lot. Thank you. The story begins. A city's violence locked behind concrete. In the heart of Chicago, hidden behind layers of concrete, razor wire, and bureaucracy, sits a place many inmates fear more than prison itself. Cook County Jail is not just a holding facility. It is a reflection of the city's violence, gang wars, and social fractures, compressed into one of the largest jail complexes on Earth. People don't serve sentences here. They survive it. A jail the size of a city. Cook County Jail is massive. At times, it has housed more than 10,000 inmates, making it one of the largest single-site jails in the world. It is not a single building, but a sprawling network of divisions, dorms, and high-security units. Inside these walls are pre-trial detainees who haven't been convicted, people arrested for minor offenses, hardened gang members, individuals suffering severe mental illness. They are all mixed together under one roof. This is where the danger begins. Why Cook County is feared more than prison? Ask former inmates and many will say the same thing. Cook County is worse than prison. Prison at least has structure, classification, and long-term housing stability. Cook County is chaos disguised as order. Inmates arrive constantly. People leave just as fast. No one settles. Tension never dissipates. Every intake brings new rivalries. Every transfer reshuffles alliances. Every tier is unpredictable. Violence here doesn't build slowly, it erupts. Chicago's gang wars locked inside. Cook County Jail does not create gangs. It inherits them. Chicago streets are divided by gang boundaries that stretch back decades. Gangster disciples, black disciples, vice lords, Latin kings, 2-6, Mickey Cobras, and many more. Those same rivalries walk through the intake doors every single day. Inside the jail, colors are not always worn, but they are known. Hand signs are subtle. Language is coded. Seating arrangements are intentional. Who you stand next to can decide whether you live quietly or become a target. Correctional officers know this. Inmates know it better. No time to de-escalate. Unlike prisons where inmates can be separated by security level, Cook County runs on speed and volume. People are processed, classified, and housed rapidly. Mistakes happen. Rivals end up housed together. Deaths follow inmates inside. Street conflicts resume within hours. Officers often find themselves reacting instead of preventing. When violence breaks out, it happens fast. Fists, weapons, group assaults, before staff can fully respond. This constant volatility is why Cook County has recorded some of the highest assault rates of any jail in the United States. Weapons in a place that bans them. Weapons are strictly prohibited. In reality, they are everywhere. Improvised weapons are made from sharpened toothbrushes, broken plastic, metal scraps, pieces of furniture. In a jail holding thousands of people, contraband moves quickly. Searches happen, but they cannot catch everything. When violence happens, it is often sudden and brutal. Not because inmates want chaos, but because in Cook County, striking first can mean survival. A mental health crisis behind bars. Cook County Jail is also one of the largest mental health providers in Illinois, not by design but by necessity. Thousands of inmates suffer from schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, severe depression, PTSD, substance withdrawal. Many are arrested not because they are criminals, but because they have nowhere else to go. The jail was never designed to handle this volume of mental illness. Cells become isolation chambers. Tiers become pressure cookers. Episodes turn into emergencies. Inmates in mental distress are often victimized or become violent themselves. Families outside rarely understand how dangerous this environment is for someone already struggling. Correctional officers under siege. Correctional officers at Cook County face one of the most difficult jobs in American law enforcement. They are outnumbered, understaffed, responsible for volatile populations, constantly rotating assignments. Officers walk into tears knowing that alliances may have shifted overnight. A quiet morning can turn violent without warning. Burnout is common. Injuries are frequent. Morale fluctuates. Some officers describe the job as controlled crisis management. Every shift is about minimizing damage, not eliminating danger. Federal scrutiny and public outrage. Cook County Jail has spent years under federal oversight due to conditions inside. Lawsuits, investigations, and reports have documented excessive force claims, inmate deaths, failures in mental health care, overcrowding, poor sanitation. Reforms have been introduced, training improved, oversight increased, But scale remains the problem. When you place thousands of people, many with untreated trauma, gang affiliations, and mental illness, into a constantly rotating environment, violence becomes a feature, not a flaw. A jail that never sleeps. Cook County Jail does not calm down at night. Late hours are often the most dangerous. Fewer staff, exhausted officers, heightened anxiety, unresolved tensions. Whispers move down tiers. Arguments escalate. Fights break out without warning. Officers say the jail has a rhythm, and when it feels too quiet, something is coming. Families on the outside. For families, Cook County is terrifying precisely because it is temporary. There is no sentence to count down. No clear timeline. No stability. Loved ones can be inside for weeks or months, exposed to violence daily before even seeing a courtroom. Calls are limited. Information is scarce. Fear fills the gaps. Many families say the waiting is worse than knowing someone is in prison. A reflection of the city. Cook County Jail is not an anomaly. It is a mirror. It reflects Chicago's gang divisions, mental health failures, poverty, addiction, systemic neglect. The violence inside did not appear overnight. It was imported, one arrest at a time, setting the stage. This is why Cook County Jail has earned its reputation, not because it is the most secure, not because it is the oldest, but because it concentrates every conflict Chicago cannot resolve into one confined space. To understand how Cook County became one of the most dangerous jails in America, and why the gang wars never truly stop, we must go deeper. Territory without streets. In Cook County Jail, the streets don't disappear. They condense. Every rivalry that once played out on Chicago's blocks, corners, and housing projects is carried inside, stripped of distance, privacy, and escape. What remains is territory without streets, power without borders, and violence compressed into narrow tiers and concrete cells. This is where Chicago's gang wars continue, only closer, faster, and deadlier. Gangs don't pause at the jail door. Cook County Jail does not reset an inmate's identity. The moment someone enters intake, their affiliations follow them inside. Correctional officers don't need colors or tattoos to know who belongs where. In Cook County, gang identity is communicated through who inmates walk with, where they sit, who they avoid, who speaks for them. Even silence can signal allegiance. In a jail with constant movement, gangs function as instant protection systems. For some inmates, joining or aligning with a gang isn't a choice, it's a survival strategy. Alone means exposed. Exposed means targeted. Housing is a high-stakes gamble. One of Cook County's most dangerous challenges is classification. Because the jail holds thousands of pretrial detainees cycling in and out daily, housing decisions are often made under extreme pressure. Staff must balance security risks, mental health needs, court schedules, and space availability, all in real time. Mistakes happen. Rival gang members end up on the same tier. Street conflicts walk straight into cells. Unresolved debts resurface overnight. Unlike prisons, Cook County doesn't have the luxury of long-term separation. Violence can erupt within hours of intake. How violence starts. In Cook County Jail, violence rarely looks spontaneous, even when it appears that way. A stare lasts too long. A seat is taken at the wrong table. A rumor spreads down the tier. Then it happens. Fights are often sudden and overwhelming. Group assaults are common. Victims may not even know what triggered the attack, only that they crossed an invisible line. Weapons appear quickly. Improvised blades, sharpened plastic, or metal fragments are concealed until the moment they're used. By the time officers respond, damage is already done. The power of reputation. In a place where everyone is watching everyone else, reputation becomes currency. Gangs enforce discipline through fear. Retaliation is expected. Failure to respond to an attack can mark an inmate as weak, and weakness is dangerous in Cook County. This creates cycles of violence. A fight triggers retaliation. Retaliation triggers lockdown. Lockdown breeds resentment. Resentment fuels the next outbreak. The jail becomes stuck in motion, constantly reacting but rarely stabilizing. Lockdowns as damage control. When violence spikes, Cook County often turns to lockdowns. Movement stops. Programs are suspended. Inmates remain confined to cells for extended periods. Lockdowns can restore temporary control, but they come at a cost. Confinement increases tension, worsens mental health symptoms, and intensifies anger. When movement resumes, unresolved conflicts often reignite. Officers describe lockdowns not as solutions, but as pressure valves. Mental illness and gang violence collide. Cook County's mental health crisis intersects dangerously with gang dynamics. Inmates experiencing psychosis, withdrawal, or severe emotional distress are especially vulnerable. Some become targets. Others lash out unpredictably. Gang leaders sometimes exploit this instability, using mentally ill inmates as shields, distractions, or pawns. The result is an environment where illness goes untreated, behavior escalates, violence becomes harder to predict. Medical emergencies and use of force incidents blur together. Officers caught in the middle. Correctional officers at Cook County operate between two forces: gang control and institutional limits. They must separate rival groups, intervene in fights, manage mental health crises, enforce rules consistently, all while being outnumbered. Officers often rely on experience and intuition to prevent violence, reading posture, tone, and movement patterns. But intuition isn't foolproof, especially during understaffed shifts. When violence erupts, officers are expected to respond immediately, even when backup is delayed. Injuries are not uncommon. Stress is constant. One officer described it as working in a war zone where the front line moves every hour. The cost of constant rotation. Because Cook County is a jail, not a prison, inmates are constantly entering and leaving. This churn makes long-term stability impossible. New arrivals bring fresh rivalries. Released inmates leave power vacuums. Court decisions reshuffle housing daily. Gangs must continuously reassert control. This instability keeps the environment permanently volatile and makes long-term reform difficult. Federal oversight and the limits of reform. Years of violence, deaths, and lawsuits placed Cook County Jail under federal scrutiny. Reforms were ordered. Oversight increased. Mental health services expanded. But reform cannot eliminate scale. When a jail functions as both a detention center and a de facto mental health facility, while absorbing the city's gang conflicts, violence becomes structural. No single policy can undo decades of social failure. The inmate's reality. 4 inmates inside Cook County, every day is calculated. Who to talk to, where to stand, when to stay silent. Neutrality is risky. Trust is rare. Survival depends on awareness, not strength. Some inmates make it through without incident. Others don't. And many leave carrying trauma that follows them long after release. A jail that mirrors the streets. Cook County Jail does not create gang wars. It concentrates them. The same divisions that fracture Chicago's neighborhoods reappear inside the jail, intensified by confinement, desperation, and fear. Until those root causes are addressed outside the walls, Cook County will remain what it is today. A place where gang wars never stop, only relocate. What comes next? The violence inside Cook County Jail is not random. It follows patterns. It escalates in cycles. And it leaves lasting damage, not just on inmates but on officers, families, and the system itself. To understand the full cost of Cook County's violence, we must examine what happens after the fights. The trauma, the reforms, and the question of whether this cycle can ever be broken. The cost of containment. When the fights end, the lockdowns lift, and the tears fall quiet, Cook County Jail does not reset. It absorbs the damage and moves forward, carrying the weight of every assault, every mental breakdown, and every failure of control. This is the cost of containment. Violence leaves marks long after it ends. Inside Cook County Jail, violence does not always make headlines. Many incidents are resolved quietly, documented in reports, and buried under the volume of daily crises. But for those who experience it, the impact lasts far beyond the moment. Inmates who survive assaults often carry untreated injuries, lingering fear, heightened paranoia, trauma that reshapes how they interact with others. Some become hyper-alert, constantly scanning for threats. Others withdraw completely, limiting movement and interaction to reduce risk. Survival becomes a mindset, not a phase. Mental health aftermath. Cook County Jail's mental health crisis does not end when someone leaves a tier or exits the facility. Extended exposure to overcrowding, unpredictable violence, constant noise, lack of privacy, can worsen existing conditions and create new ones. Former detainees have described difficulty sleeping, sudden anxiety in crowded places, and an inability to relax even in safe environments. For individuals who entered the jail already struggling, the experience can accelerate decline. The jail was never designed to heal. It was designed to hold. Correctional officers carry invisible scars. The toll on correctional officers is often overlooked. Working in Cook County Jail means operating in a state of permanent readiness. Officers must anticipate violence while enforcing rules, managing mental health emergencies, and navigating gang dynamics, often with limited resources. Over time, this creates emotional exhaustion, heightened stress responses, detachment from personal relationships, burnout. Many officers leave after only a few years. Others stay, adapting to a mindset where vigilance never shuts off. One former officer described it simply: "You don't leave Cook County at the end of your shift. It stays with you." Federal oversight, reform under pressure. Cook County Jail has spent years under federal oversight due to documented failures in inmate care, mental health treatment, and use of force. Reforms have included improved training, expanded mental health staffing, revised use of force policies, increased monitoring. These measures have made measurable improvements in some areas, but they have not eliminated the core problem: scale. As long as Cook County continues to function as one of the largest jails in the country, a primary holding center for pretrial detainees, a de facto mental health institution, the system remains stretched to its limits. Reform can slow damage. It cannot erase it. Pretrial detention and the weight of uncertainty. One of Cook County's most disturbing realities is that many inmates inside have not been convicted of a crime. They are waiting for court dates, hearings, bail decisions. This uncertainty magnifies stress. Unlike prison sentences, there is no timeline to count down. Days blur together. Anxiety builds. For families, the fear is constant. Loved ones are exposed to violence without knowing how long they will remain inside. For some detainees, Cook County becomes more traumatic than the sentence that may follow. Why Cook County is different? What makes Cook County Jail especially dangerous is not just the violence. It's the combination of factors that sustain it. Massive population, constant turnover, gang density, mental illness, understaffing, urban crime patterns. Each element feeds the next. When violence occurs, it isn't an anomaly. It's a symptom, the illusion of control. On paper, Cook County Jail is heavily regulated. Policies exist. Procedures are written. Oversight bodies monitor operations. But inside, control is fluid. It shifts between gangs, between tiers, between shifts. Authority is constantly tested. Officers manage, not dominate. Inmates adapt, not submit. The system holds together through constant effort, not stability. Families left in the dark. For families outside the jail, Cook County is defined by uncertainty and fear. Phone calls are limited. Information is scarce. Visits are stressful. Parents worry about sons. Partners worry about spouses. Children wait for voices that may not come. Many families describe feeling powerless, knowing something is wrong inside, but unable to intervene. The jail's impact ripples outward, affecting communities far beyond its walls. A pipeline, not a solution. Cook County Jail sits at the intersection of multiple failures: inadequate mental health care, unresolved gang violence, economic inequality, slow judicial processes. It absorbs people at moments of crisis and releases them, often without addressing the conditions that led them there. For some, release is relief. For others, it's a return to the same cycle. The jail becomes a revolving door, not a resolution. Why the gang wars don't stop. Gang violence inside Cook County persists because the forces that create it outside remain unresolved. Arrests do not dissolve rivalries. Detention does not erase history. Confinement intensifies pressure. When gangs are compressed into confined spaces, conflict accelerates rather than fades. Cook County does not end Chicago's gang wars. It contains them temporarily, a place people fear more than prison. Many former detainees say the same thing when asked about Cook County: "I'd rather go to prison." Prison offers structure, predictability, and separation by security level. Cook County offers uncertainty, proximity, and constant volatility. That fear is why families dread the words, "I'm going to Cook County." The final reality: Cook County Jail is not a failure because it lacks effort. It is a failure because it is expected to solve problems it was never designed to handle. It is a holding facility burdened with healing roles, a security institution absorbing social collapse, a place asked to contain violence without resolving its cause. The truth behind the walls. Cook County Jail stands as one of the most dangerous jails in America, not because it is lawless, but because it reflects a system under strain. The gang wars inside never stop because the conditions that fuel them never stop. Until those forces are addressed beyond the jail's walls, Cook County will remain what it is today: a place of constant motion, a mirror of the city's deepest conflicts, and a reminder that containment is not the same as control.